You know, Benjamin Franklin said that justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. And 2 years ago, actually more than 2 years ago, this office, before I was actually elected, and other attorneys general from across the country engaged in an investigation. They were investigating the alleged wrongful conduct of banks and how they potentially treated families across this country in foreclosure practices. And what we learned is that they were more than allegations. There was true wrongful conduct that banks engaged in across the country, affecting families and individuals in a powerful way. And many lost their homes. And Oklahoma suffered and dealt with that just like other states across the country experienced that. And so that 2-year investigation was a very positive thing. It was a very good thing for me as your Attorney General and for families in Oklahoma to become aware of the type of practices. And some of those practices you're very familiar with, from dual track to robo-signing to other types of conduct that banks engaged in, and real harm occurred to Oklahomans across the state. Harm that ultimately led to some families losing their home. Harm that led to some families being on the verge of foreclosure. They suffered wrongful conduct. We took a bold step in March of this year and we said, you know what, we're going to focus in Oklahoma on making sure that Oklahoma families receive relief. That when they experienced harmful conduct, they were going to get more than just an arbitrary check for $2,000. That our office was going to look into each and every case and say, what kind of harm did you suffer, and how can we provide relief to you? You know, those families who lost their homes, we cannot undo that process. And there were a few across the state of Oklahoma that did. We cannot give them back their home, but what we can do is provide them a measure of relief, penalties, monies that will assist them on the next stage of their life, to move them forward as opposed to backward. And I'm excited today that this office has carried out its responsibility. Every day in this office, we're about justice. Every day in this office, we're about administering justice. And I can say to you unequivocally that our public protection unit, the Office of the Attorney General, since March of this year, when we sought to hold banks accountable, has provided justice to Oklahoma families. You're going to hear about that today. You're going to hear about the programs that we've established in partnership with the OBA, in partnership with Legal Aid of Oklahoma, to assist those individuals in the state of Oklahoma that need help. And we're also going to talk about the measure of relief, monies that are going to families directly for the harm that they experienced. One of those families you're going to hear from. Zach and Melissa Zuniga are here from Tulsa, and they're going to tell you their story. And they're going to tell you their story because it's important to note that under the federal settlement, on average right now, families across the country that experienced harmful conduct in other states are receiving potentially as little as $840 for wrongful conduct. That is not justice for families like the Zunigas. I think you're going to hear today that justice has been applied fairly to them as it relates to this mortgage settlement.
We have 3 children. Our oldest daughter is 15. Her name is Chelsea. Our son is 10. His name is Caden. And we have a 19-month-old little girl. Her name is Cameron. Our story begins roughly exactly 3 years ago to the month in 2009 when we had contacted our mortgage company to get into a remodification program that would hopefully save us from a financial setback that we had and to save our home. We got approved with the remodification program in October of 2009, and we were told that our first payment to get us back on track would be the 1st of November of 2009. So we received our packet late October, and the payment date in the packet said December the 1st of 2009. So I contacted again the bank to see which to go with. What I was told on the phone of November the 1st, or what the packet told me of December the 1st of 2009. I was told to follow the packet, so that's what we did. We ended up making our first payment by December the 1st on time, and we went from there. did not hear much of anything from the mortgage company. We had sent in all the paperwork they asked. And in March of 2010, late March of 2010, process server started trying to find us again. Going to the house, coming to my job to service with papers of foreclosure again on the property that we thought we were making amends on. So this began a 15-month journey for us that I don't even have the words to describe exactly what it did to us. But what we ended up going through was months of being told they didn't receive paperwork from us that we had sent in, contacting their attorney's office in Tulsa that they had coming after us and being ignored by them, calling in to many representatives and being told they have no idea what to do with our account because it was such a mess. Being sent back a refund check of a mortgage payment that we had made with a note attached to it saying that there was no longer any payments due on our account because it had been paid in full. I mean, it was just a roller coaster of emotions for us as a family trying to get our way back to where we thought we belonged. So ultimately, with fighting that for months and months and months of just this and that and that and this and not getting anywhere, in June of 2011, I finally got a hold of somebody at at the bank, and they said they were the ones in charge of our account at the time. And I was told that we owed $20,000 more than what our original mortgage was for to get us back on track. Basically, that the only thing we could do was be sent out another packet of remodification papers yet to save our home. So we went ahead and went that route one more time. This was the third time finally that we were going to go this way. And he said that he would stop the sheriff's sale on our property and that we would receive another packet that we were hoping at the time was going to be the packet that would ultimately save our home. When we received our packet on June 30th, June 28th, they sold our house. And we had nothing, we didn't know what to do. We were left with a family of 5, and we just didn't know what to do. So we went, and with our backs against the wall, we finally found a rental home in the same neighborhood we have lived. Like I have lived in this house since 1988 with my parents. I grew up in this house. I started my family in this house. We had our children in this house. We just didn't know what to do at the time. So like I said, we found a new place to go. We stayed in the same neighborhood so the kids could stay in their schools and keep their friends. Because after losing their home, they didn't need anything else. And so at that point, we continued on into 2012. Melissa had just got a brand new job in August of 2011, right when all this was happening. We were having to move. And I was with the same company that I've worked for 11 years now. And we finally got ourselves into a new routine. Finally got ourselves back in a position where we thought that we could finally somewhat start again. And so we started and we just went with it. One day I was sitting at home on my day off and Melissa sent an email to me and it was on my phone, so I got it immediately, and it was a coworker had said something to her about this program. And at that point we hadn't heard anything, it was weird because we thought we'd heard everything, but I guess that there's a certain point in time when you just don't look for things anymore because you realize that the help you were looking for wasn't there. So we just basically given up and just thought it was time to just go ahead and walk forward. So anyway, I opened the email I received from her, and I went on the computer and I printed out the application and everything, and I just thought to myself, I go, tell them the story one more time isn't going to hurt anything, no matter what, just to see what happens from this point on. And Melissa and I were very hesitant, of course, because of everything that we'd already been through at this time. We didn't know what to expect. So anyway, when Tom Bates contacted us a few weeks ago, I didn't know what to think of it. I called Melissa and told her at work exactly, what had happened, and she was kind of speechless at first on the phone, like, "Are you serious? Like, after all this time, somebody's actually come back and said something." And I was like, "Yeah, and I was just like, this is going to be pretty interesting." And so Not a week later, we were in Tulsa meeting with Tom and started to hear some words that we never thought we'd hear ever. It was a reality check for us because we realized that finally somebody had listened to our story and cared enough to help. So now we're at a point in our lives where we were, like I said, just starting over. Everything seemed great. Then with Tom's words that he gave us, it was just encouragement that we had forgotten even existed because of the 3 years of turmoil we had gone through. So now, with the information that he provided us, I can definitely say that for a family of 5 and with 1 on the way, that it will absolutely change our lives at this point in time. We have minimum amount of debt that we'll be able to pay off. We'll be able to have money in the bank and we'll be able to take care of things that seemed so far away a year ago. And with that being said, I would like to thank, my family would like to thank Attorney General Pruitt for standing ground for us and other families like us in the state of Oklahoma that had to endure the stress, the pain, the heartache that was brought on by the banks that misrepresented their clients like us. Because now a new day for our family is coming, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Michael, I want to say thank you for your kind words and also for the words you shared with folks here today. When this settlement was negotiated in March of this year, to be able to stand beside you and be able to offer you relief and help for something that you live so intimately and so difficultly, I want to say I pray that this is helpful to you as you transition to a new part of your life. This is a $20,000 check from the Oklahoma Mortgage Settlement Fund to assist you as you go forward, but also to deal with all the harm and wrongful conduct that banks perpetrated against you as a family. And it's an honor to serve you. It's an honor to give this to you. And say, I pray that it's a help to you as you begin the new part of your journey.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Zach. Blessings to you. Thank you.